All right, we have a sprinkler valve here that, sorry I didn't start recording earlier, but I'm already taking it apart. But we have a sprinkler valve here that is stuck open. There's a couple things you can do when you do this. Obviously, first step is we went ahead and shut off the main water. Yours might be something like this. It might be in a box next to it or just right in line here, but there should be a ball valve of some kind to cut this off. So we went through a few tests, and it seems like the valve is just failed. So when you take these apart, you kind of want to do it like a tire. So you're going to take them off in a crisscross pattern, and then when you get down to the last two, just take them off real slow, kind of take turns back and forth. There's a couple things that could be causing it to be stuck open. By stuck open, I mean it is essentially the sprinklers are just staying on. So a couple things that can happen: clean out your area first as much as you can. A couple things that can happen is you can get some sand or dirt in this diaphragm here. It just comes out in a few pieces. So first thing to try is grab your diaphragm, inspect it. Just make sure you don't have any tears or rips or anything like that. This one's got a few rough spots in it, but we already tried cleaning this. So get yourself a bowl of clean water and wash it. You can put it back together, see if that stops. In this case, I don't know if there's a tiny rip in it somewhere, but that didn't work. So there's the hard way would be to replace the whole valve. That's digging out this whole box, cutting, threading. In this case, this one was installed with these permanent style clamps. I didn't really want to deal with that. So what we did was I found the identical valve. In this case, it's a Rainbird. And the bottom portion of this valve is still in good shape. Basically, we're just going to make sure it's nice and clean. And, there's really not any moving parts to this. So we're just going to take the new one apart and just swap the guts and the top over. Because we might have a bad solenoid, we might have an issue with the diaphragm. These are all individually replaceable, but for a couple bucks more, you can just buy a whole valve. So we're just going to take this new one apart, swap all the guts over, leave this in place so we don't have to cut this out, and then test it. So we're going to want to make sure that this is really clean. You can spray water on it, you can dump water on it, wash it, run your finger in this groove right here. Make sure that there is no debris or dirt in there. We've got our new valve apart. It only goes on one way. So as you can see, there's two ears right there that align this. So we're just going to swap this over. Make sure it gets pressed on. New spring. And then we're going to put this new valve on, and before we wire it up, we'll go ahead and turn the water on and test it. Okay, so we turned our water back on. And it took it a second, but it regulated itself. Got itself closed. This little guy right here, you can turn it left and manually let water through. In this case, I just wanted it tight, so I went ahead and shut it tight. Some valves have like a variable flow adjustment that you can do. This one doesn't. This is just on or off. But basically, you just want to turn that down until your sprinkler's shut off completely. In this case. So now that we know that that works, we know that there was an issue with either the diaphragm, the spring, or the solenoid itself on this guy. So as far as wiring this up goes, these don't matter. One of them is going to go to the red wire, and the other one will go to the common that is likely shared with the others. So one of them will go to black, one of them will go to red. You'll want to use these. They probably already have them in there, but they have these fancy. They're kind of filled with like a dielectric grease, so they're a little bit waterproof. But basically, you just wire nut those together. Go test your sprinkler.